Karens are under the erroneous assumption that they can act without facing any consequences, regardless of the legality of their behavior. However, these individuals often face unfavorable outcomes due to their impolite and furious demeanor. Consequently, they have become the focus of internet memes. Additionally, the actions of these individuals can sometimes lead to severe repercussions, such as lifetime imprisonment. Therefore, let us explore the reactions of the top 10 Karens when faced with such a sentence. Number 1. Suzanne Craft. Suzanne Craft, a woman residing in the peaceful neighborhood of Lake Forest, found herself at the center of a disturbing incident. She was accused of repeatedly spray-painting racist graffiti on her neighbor's driveway. One of these incidents was caught on the family's security cameras, leaving no doubt about her actions. As a result, she was charged with harassment and criminal mischief, and a no-contact order was imposed by the court to prevent further encounters with the Pineda family. However, Craft seemed unaffected by the court's decision and breached the order by entering their yard and sprinkling a toxic substance. The following day, her actions left a visible mark in the form of a chemical spill. Craft's behavior escalated as she allegedly spread shards of glass across the Pineda family's yard, and they even recorded instances of objects, including glass and hot dogs, being thrown into their property. Fearful and uncomfortable, the family no longer felt safe living near her. Recognizing the seriousness of her actions, the court sternly warned Craft about the consequences of violating the no-contact order. They made it clear that even one proven transgression could result in her imprisonment. The family eagerly awaited justice, prepared to testify against her. However, the hearing was unexpectedly postponed, further delaying their pursuit of justice. When the time came, Craft's open disdain for the court's order led to her being held in contempt. She received a sentence of 7 days of home confinement and was required to pay a $5,000 bond. In addition to the initial charges of harassment and criminal mischief, she now faced the full force of the law. Number 2. Donna Kozel. Karens have a negative reputation for causing conflict and getting arrested, and one famous example is Donna Kozel. Donna is the mother of a woman who was in court for a drunk driving charge. During her daughter's court appearance, Donna behaved disrespectfully by laughing inappropriately. The judge immediately noticed Donna's behavior and stopped the proceedings to address her actions. The judge expressed disappointment that someone could find humor in such a serious situation. Donna was reminded by the court that respect and good behavior are required by the law. As a result of her disruptive behavior, she was arrested for criminal contempt right in the middle of the courtroom drama. Amanda, Donna's daughter, appeared saddened by her mother's remarks and could only watch as the consequences unfolded. The judge harshly criticized Amanda for drunk driving and taking someone's life and was determined to maintain order in the court. Amanda's life had been irreparably changed, and her mother's rude behavior only added to the stress. Donna continued her disrespectful behavior during her own court appearance, and as a result, she was charged with direct criminal contempt by the judge. Under normal circumstances, she would not be entitled to a hearing or representation and could have been immediately imprisoned for up to 93 days. However, considering the circumstances, the court allowed her to be heard. She hired legal representation, surprising considering the judge's previous actions. During the second hearing, Donna sincerely apologized for her conduct, perhaps realizing the seriousness of her actions. She expressed genuine remorse for the stress she caused and acknowledged the impact on the court and the bereaved family. This unexpected display of regret showcased a moment of reflection. Her remorse and the mitigating circumstances led the court to feel sympathy. Recognizing Donna's struggles and stress, the judge sentenced her to a 93-day jail term with the possibility of release. Although jail is not known for its leniency, it can be considered an appropriate punishment for Donna's disrespectful behavior. The judge's willingness to listen and assess the situation demonstrated compassion and impartiality. Thank you for watching this video. Please leave your comments below and let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this in the future. I'll see you next time. Number 3. Deborah Hunter. Deborah Hunter and her daughter were shopping in a store during the COVID-19 pandemic. While everyone else was wearing masks, Deborah believed she was exempt due to her perceived superiority. This bold act did not go unnoticed, as a camera captured what happened next. It is important to note that this incident occurred at the peak of the pandemic, making her disdainful behavior even more reprehensible. She decided to cough intentionally on a woman named Heather Sprague, who was battling cancer and already facing significant health issues. Heather, the victim of Deborah's deliberate coughing, described how this act was meant to harm her physically and emotionally while she was in a vulnerable state. It was an unfeeling and malicious act directed towards someone who was already fighting numerous medical battles. Once the severity of her offense was recognized, Deborah was prosecuted and brought to court. The legal system aimed to hold her accountable for her heartless behavior during a time of heightened concern for public health. After hearing the evidence against her, she was sentenced to 30 days in jail, highlighting the seriousness of her actions. During her court appearance, Deborah had the opportunity to face the consequences of her behavior and speak. She acknowledged her mistake and expressed remorse for the impact it had on herself and her family. She stressed that her children were innocent and deeply affected by her actions. While her testimony in court demonstrated some understanding of the pain she had caused and the negative repercussions on her family, it could not undo the harm inflicted on Heather Sprague and the community as a whole. Number 4, Kimberly Kessler. Kimberly Kessler, a convicted individual, was responsible for the death of her co-worker, Jolene Cummings, resulting in a life sentence. Jolene was reported missing in May 2018, and despite extensive efforts, her body was never located. Kessler was found guilty of this terrible crime, providing some justice for the victim and her family. Although the death penalty was not sought, Kessler was sentenced to life in prison. The judge made it clear that regardless of any circumstances, the punishment would be enforced. Kessler's mental health played a significant role in the investigation and court proceedings. Initially deemed mentally unfit for trial, further examination revealed that she was capable of understanding the charges against her. It was also discovered that she had used various names in different states, further complicating the case. Rather than participating in the trial, Kessler caused disruptions during her occasional court appearances. Her disruptive behavior led to her confinement in a separate room during most of the proceedings, connected to the courtroom through video connection. Her actions took a toll on her, as she appeared gaunt due to self-starvation while wearing a controversial smock. At one point, Kessler looked into the camera and shouted an obscenity at the judge, demonstrating her contempt and lack of remorse. Her troubling behavior extended beyond verbal outbursts. According to jail staff, she engaged in strange and unsanitary behaviors, such as stripping naked and smearing feces on the glass of her observation cell daily, indicating her deteriorating mental state. The trial and subsequent punishments for Kimberly Kessler brought closure for Jolene Cummings's family and friends, serving justice. Although Jolene's body had not been found, the guilty verdict and life sentence provided some solace to those who loved her. While Kessler's disruptive behavior and mental health issues were considered in the case, they did not absolve her of the terrible crime she committed. Number 5, Lena Hernandez. Lena Hernandez, a well-known 54-year-old woman from Long Beach, California, was famous for her floral shirts and signature scarves, leading people to believe she was charming. However, little did they know about her true character, as she harbored deep racial prejudices. Hernandez's family warned her that if she made any more racist remarks, she would face serious consequences, which made her stop playing games with others. Unfortunately, Hernandez's racist biases resurfaced one day when she angrily confronted an Asian person, hurling vile comments and demanding they return to their supposed Asian nation. She proudly declared that they didn't belong in California and that it wasn't their home. What she didn't realize was that her hateful rant was caught on camera and shared on social media, causing the video to go viral and sparking global outrage against her discriminatory behavior. She had brought upon herself a storm of public fury. The community united to condemn her actions, making it clear that her comments and behavior were unacceptable. However, the story doesn't end there. Later that day, she targeted another person with her verbal abuse, accusing them of making a racial remark and ordering them to leave. She expressed little regret and dismissively claimed that she didn't care about social media or recordings. Unfortunately for her, her actions would not go unnoticed. People confronted her, exposing her disdain and ignorance, and tried to teach her the importance of treating everyone with dignity, regardless of their ethnic background. Despite their efforts, Hernandez remained stubborn, refusing to admit her mistakes. Law enforcement became involved and launched an investigation into her actions. Although she proved elusive and managed to evade capture, the police knew her identity. They sought the community's help in locating her, with the aim of holding her accountable for her behavior. Her escape didn't last long, and she was eventually apprehended and faced charges for her hate-filled crimes. Hernandez appeared in court, where she received a 45-day jail sentence and was ordered to attend anger management classes for a year. By pleading no contest, she admitted her guilt and reached a plea agreement. This incident serves as a reminder that individuals who hold hateful and racist beliefs have no place in society, regardless of their age. Number 6. Diana Lovejoy. This woman gained notoriety due to her involvement in a high-profile case where she allegedly tried to kill her own husband. This shocking crime and the subsequent legal proceedings captured public attention. Originally coming from a relatively unknown background, Lovejoy's life took a dramatic turn when she became involved in a custody dispute with her ex-husband. Their past was characterized by a turbulent marriage marked by anger and animosity. As the custody battle escalated, Lovejoy allegedly resorted to extreme measures. In 2016, she was charged with plotting to murder her husband and seeking assistance from her firearms instructor, Weldon McDavid Jr. The motive behind the crime was reportedly related to the custody dispute and Lovejoy's desire to regain custody of their child. During the trial, details about her crimes were revealed. Prosecutors claimed that she and McDavid had planned to lure her husband to a secluded location where they would attack and shoot him. However, their plan failed when he survived despite sustaining gunshot wounds. With mounting evidence against her, Lovejoy's defense centered on allegations of domestic abuse, portraying her as a victim trapped in an unhappy relationship. The prosecution, however, presented a different narrative, challenging her motivations and behavior. Ultimately, Lovejoy was found guilty by the jury of attempted murder and conspiracy to commit the crime. Due to the severity of her offense, the court handed down a harsh sentence. She was sentenced to 26 years to life in prison, ensuring she would spend a significant portion, if not the rest, of her life behind bars. Meanwhile, McDavid, the alleged accomplice, received a sentence of 50 years to life in prison. Lovejoy's reaction to her sentence displayed a range of emotions. It is common for individuals facing severe consequences to express astonishment, surprise, or even anger. The weight of her punishment, coupled with the prospect of spending decades in jail, may have been overwhelming for her. When the sentence was announced, she became visibly shaken and collapsed. It appeared as if she was unable to cope with the news. Security personnel had to help her back to her feet. However, some viewers speculated that her reaction was an act meant to gain sympathy, leading them to label her as a Karen. Number 7. Penelope Soto. Penelope Soto gained notoriety in 2013 when a video of her appearing in court went viral. During a bail hearing in a Miami courthouse, Soto was facing charges of narcotics possession. Her actions and subsequent argument with Judge Jorge Rodriguez sparked a debate about courtroom conduct and penalties. In the video, Soto initially showed a casual and disrespectful attitude. When the judge asked about her assets, including a house, a vehicle, bank accounts, and jewelry, to assess her financial situation, she seemed to treat it as a joke and failed to grasp the seriousness of the situation. The court tried to emphasize the gravity of the matter, reminding her that the courtroom was not a casual environment. Her remarks lacked sincerity, and she continued to display a disrespectful attitude, similar to that of a Karen. The court also questioned her recent substance abuse to determine her mental state. She denied any recent drug use, but her behavior throughout the discussion brought her credibility into question. In response, the judge, known for his strict demeanor, firmly increased her bail from $5,000 to $10,000 to emphasize the importance of respect and appropriate behavior in the courtroom. Clearly irritated by Soto's rude behavior and lack of cooperation, the judge dismissed her with a firm adios. The courtroom reacted with a mix of applause and shock, indicating the escalating tension during the proceedings. Soto reacted angrily and profanely upon hearing the increased bail, openly flipping off the judge. Such blatant disregard for the court's authority warranted an immediate response, and the judge wasted no time sentencing her to 30 days in jail to protect the integrity of the court. Soto's courtroom interaction quickly went viral, capturing public attention and leading to extensive debates. Many people were appalled by her disrespectful behavior, while others sympathized with the consequences she faced. The incident also sparked discussions about the role of social media in highlighting and publicizing legal proceedings. After the event, Penelope Soto officially apologized, acknowledging her mistakes and expressing remorse for her disrespectful behavior towards the judge. While her actions in court garnered much attention, the incident serves as a reminder of the importance of proper conduct in such settings. Number 8. Melissa Hardwick. Following a distressing incident in family court, a woman named Melissa Hardwick found herself facing new allegations. Judge Jennifer Edwards was presiding over a domestic abuse charge brought forward by Hardwick's ex-spouse. Unexpectedly, the hearing took a dramatic turn. Melissa and her husband were engaged in a heated argument that escalated into a domestic violence accusation. Emotions were running high as they entered the courtroom, indicating that this would not be a typical hearing. The judge, known for her fair yet firm approach, was willing to listen to both sides of the argument. As the proceedings began, there was a sense of anticipation in the courtroom. Melissa's estranged husband took the stand, visibly nervous but determined to present his side of the story. He calmly and sincerely described the acts of domestic abuse he had endured, the fear he had experienced, and his decision to seek a protection order against his wife. His testimony underscored the seriousness of the situation, highlighting the importance of addressing such issues through the legal system. However, before her husband could finish speaking, Melissa interrupted, disregarding the judge's instructions and insisting on being heard, believing that her perspective should take precedence. Despite the judge's warnings of facing contempt of court charges, Hardwick remained defiant. The judge, accustomed to maintaining control in her courtroom, attempted to restore order. However, sensing the rising emotions, she realized that a firm approach was necessary to preserve the integrity of the proceedings. In an unexpected turn of events, the judge made the tough decision to sentence Hardwick to 10 days in jail for her disrespectful behavior. This ruling was a pivotal moment for Hardwick. Overwhelmed by anger and desperation, she lunged across the bench in an attempt to confront the judge directly. Bailiffs swiftly intervened to protect the judge and restore order, but the chaotic scene was captured on surveillance cameras. While the judge remained unharmed, she bore visible scratches on her face as a reminder of the consequences of Hardwick's actions. One officer present during the incident described it as the most significant disruption he had witnessed in his 3.5 years of duty, highlighting the risks court employees face in maintaining a safe environment. Hardwick's courtroom outburst had far-reaching consequences. She was subsequently sentenced to 120 days in prison and faced additional charges, including third-degree terroristic threats, intimidating a participant in the legal process, and resisting arrest. Her bail was set at $25,000. Number 9. Amanda Stiles. In the courtroom, Amanda Stiles and her ex-husband Ryan were involved in a custody hearing. The judge overseeing the case, who had a reputation for being strict, wasted no time in causing trouble from the start. Amanda's behavior raised concerns as the hearings began. She was visibly irritated and disrespectful towards the court. She interrupted frequently and even requested to be removed. The judge intervened, telling her to wait her turn to speak, but she persisted in being impolite. She publicly expressed her desire for a favorable outcome and complained about not having enough time to find a lawyer. Her attempts to change the proceedings and secure a court-appointed attorney worsened the situation. She ignored the judge's warnings and continued to disrupt the proceedings, interrupting the opposing lawyer and trying to submit documents out of turn. The judge attempted to maintain order by reprimanding her and instructing her to let others speak. Amanda strongly objected to taking a drug test and refused to pay for it. She openly admitted to using illegal substances regularly, claiming that they were legal in certain areas like California. Her casual attitude and disregard for the law further damaged her credibility in court. The judge tried to regain control by telling her to only speak if she had a genuine objection. However, she continued to talk over the judge and even closed her screen, showing a lack of respect for the court's authority. Her behavior became increasingly uncontrollable as the hearing progressed. She failed to address the judge's questions directly, acted disrespectfully, and even used profanity. The judge admonished her and threatened punishment, but she persistently defied the warnings. She questioned the court's authority and refused to follow specific instructions, leading to multiple charges of contempt against her. Her rude behavior resulted in fines and other penalties imposed by the judge. Ryan, Amanda's ex-husband, calmly observed the hearing, witnessing her unreasonable and disrespectful conduct. The judge's attempts to maintain order were met with defiance, leaving Ryan relieved that he was no longer married to someone who acted in such a manner. As the custody hearing progressed, it became evident that her actions were hindering her case. Her behavior reflected poorly on her character and raised doubts about her ability to create a secure and supportive home for her child. Number 10. Marlena Pavlos. Marlena Pavlos, the owner of Marlena's Bistro and Pizzeria in Michigan, chose to disregard the state's food standards amid the pandemic. She received multiple fines for violating the imposed restrictions aimed at protecting public safety. In March 2021, she found herself in front of a judge. However, there was a complication due to Marlena's limited understanding of English. As the hearings began, it became apparent that she was struggling to comprehend the legal process. Her lack of a formal license further complicated the situation, leading the judge to hold her in contempt of court. Observing her behavior and understanding her challenges, it seemed that Marlena had no idea that her next action would only worsen matters. She made the unwise decision to interrupt the judge while being sworn in, which demonstrated her proficiency in English. The judge immediately reprimanded her for attempting to manipulate the proceedings and took advantage of her situation. He sarcastically remarked that she would only have her way if the court transformed into a Burger King. The weight of the judge's comment lingered, leaving Marlena in an uncomfortable position. Her new lawyer intervened and requested a private conversation with her before proceeding with the case. It was evident that resolving her violation of the court's regulations was necessary. The lawyer tried to clarify the situation and provide guidance. Following the private discussion, Marlena faced the consequences of her actions. The severity of her disobedience was reflected in a hefty fine of $15,000. Additionally, she was sentenced to time in jail, emphasizing the gravity of her offense. However, the silver lining amidst the fines and punishment was that it served as a harsh reminder to Marlena about the importance of following laws and regulations.